Hello again everyone and welcome back to Celeste. It's time for some more B-sides. Last time we went through 3 of them, and today it's gonna be 3 more. The Golden Ridge, Mirror Temple, and Reflections 1. So chapters 4, 5, and 6 essentially. And these B-sides don't just escalate in terms of difficulty, even though, you know, they obviously do that, but also in terms of their length, which the A-sides do as well, of course, but it becomes much more apparent with these here B-sides, because the difference between the few minute-long runs I've had through the first 3 now will be stuff like, 10 minutes or something instead of 5, or 7 already for 3. And it'll grow higher from there. Ah yes, those rooms. I like those rooms. Even though they're essentially auto-scrollers, navigating one of those blocks all the way to the end, I don't know, just, it's something that I like about it. I don't know what, just, it seems like a fun challenge. And there's several of those in this B-side, and I wish the game had more of those somehow, but I wouldn't know how to do that without getting old or, you know, just ruining the pacing of the level. Because you can't have a million of those in a row. 2 of them? Maybe. But this is a different thing because you're not controlling the block, you're just controlling yourself. You have it timed around the block. And I'm glad that the remix track for this level is actually kind of in the vein of the regular track, which is really kind of quiet, serene, almost very peaceful. Something to chill out to. Chill out, of course, while having tons of death traps and spikes. This room in particular is very, very difficult. But you might not even know what to do at first. I mean, you'll try, but then you'll find, oh, I can't actually do what I want to do. The solution, as usual, is very simple. You just need to think of it first. Navigating this room with the wind and everything is much more difficult than you might expect at first. I mean, landing on this moving platform while the wind is blowing is just something special. And then not going into those spikes, that's actually kind of rude. Why would you do that? It's kind of a gotcha, really. Of course, the rooms that are the most fun when there's wind involved is the one where the wind actually supports you by, you know, blowing you up or being behind you and just, you know, making you go faster. You know, I like just hyper dashing through these transitions or just sometimes just dash through them, but it always gets me killed. And if you're too fast in this room, those blocks will be aligned. And that will be a problem, because you won't be able to easily step down on the next one. It's still possible, of course, but it's easier the way I did it. You have to be really fast in this room in order to pull it off. I mean, it's somewhat forgiving. I don't want to say, oh, it's really tight, but you need to actually just go as fast as you can. Let's put it that way. You don't have to do anything fancy to progress, but you know. Well, where I like this wind gimmick the least is when it comes in intervals, turns on and off, and seemingly random. Well, it's not random, but you know, it first blows against you, then it stops, and then it's in your back and kind of makes you go faster. If it were more consistent, like just having the wind there and do its thing, that would be fine, I think. And you're not supposed to jump off of those pink clouds there. Instead, you just let their upswing carry you a little bit. And this room essentially expects you to, you know, to remember that you can actually move in the air before you do a dash. This room had me stumped for a while. It took me quite a bit to figure that out, even though the solution is really, really, really simple. Utilizing something very basic, you should know by the time you finish 1A. Right, time for some rhythm again. This time with wind. I like when these incorporate level gimmicks. I like the Chapter 5 one in particular. We'll see that though. We did it. Let's just move on though. That music is so good. I just love that the music for these really hard levels is actually fairly relaxing. And for one time, in the B-sides, we actually do get some exploration. While you do kind of have to do this in a more or less fixed order, well, it doesn't matter so much because, hey, you get options for once. And it's really nice to just see these dash block puzzles a bit more complex than they would normally be, because there's a lot of potential for just brain screwery right here. Oh, a bit sloppy, but we can salvage it. That's really most of what Neutral Clam is good for. Corrections when you really screw up. Oh yeah, what you can do, what I just did there, is just dash into one of those blocks without even holding on to it. Just press the jump button, you'll still keep the momentum. Which you need to know for this B-side, otherwise you'll probably die. Many times. Alright, and now we have our path to, well, out of this hub section secured. And this room is really long. Imagine dying here in the last jump that you have to make. That would be intensely frustrating. Oh, well... Good thing I can edit to spare you from seeing this room like 5 more times. But what would the mirror temple be without going into a mirror, right? And this room here, well, it's easy to die in this room, you can imagine. Not just this opening section, that's really simple, but... maybe I should count the deaths I had in this room alone later on. But hey, I don't want to actually despair. And now you are forced to really understand how those guys work. You need to know that they can activate switches. You need to know that you can jump off of them. And as a bit of a bonus, if you know that their explosion actually propels you away, there's some interesting things you can do later on. Difficult things are not worth it, but interesting things. Sometimes, of course, the interesting stuff is more fun, even if it's really stupid, and I'm not gonna do it because I would be here forever. I hate when that happens, when I try to make that Seeker actually break the wall, and then I stomp him at the last possible moment. Oh well. And here you're expected to hop off of our little friend here, but you know you can do it a different way too. If you know how to do a hyper dash, delay it slightly, and you gotta keep your dash. Oh yeah, it's our boy Mixmaster Theo. Now we're talking. I really like that Theo has dialogue here. Or monologue, if you want to be really accurate. But it's really nice. Like, just not something you've seen in the B-side so far. So no complaints here. You know, I have a talent for dying during the last possible jump in a room. Seeing as the Theo section is so short, relatively speaking anyway, in the main chapter, I'm glad they brought this back. Oh, it's clearly impossible. Let's just do it first try, baby. Not even close. This actually is kinda hard, though. A little known fact, you can actually use Theo to break the heart. Or, well, not break it, just... Are we breaking hearts? This raises questions. I like to say we're unleashing its power upon the world, or into Madeline, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Madeline has a realization about herself or something, I don't know. There's many possible interpretations for the hearts could mean. But now we are in chapter 6. This song mostly remixes the second part when you confront Madeline's not quite evil shadow. Her darker side, her whatever. The part she wants to suppress. The thing is, the part with this track I really like is actually the first bit, the one before you confront Madeline or Battle or whatever, it doesn't matter. Little goth Madeline. A lot of these rooms seem like they expect a lot of you, and they do. This is basically where shit starts to get real. It starts to get real, not quite real yet. It'll get real. Not just yet though. Having these blocks propel you, of course, is just intensely satisfying when it actually works. I wouldn't blame you for being completely put off of this room once you realize you have to carry both of those blocks to the end. But it's much easier than it seems at first. As long as you know how to fall, this section here is almost kind of a breather. Of course, I'm saying that, you know. Someone else might have a lot of trouble with this particular aspect of the game. This section just goes on, to be quite honest. But somehow, even though all you do is fall, it doesn't quite get old. Really kind of shows how well designed this game is. But now it is time to confront a Battlein once more. Only this time it wasn't easy the first time, but now it's kind of, you know, the logical conclusion of that, really. Especially when the game makes you just jump off of a falling platform to recharge your dash. Like here. This is not as easy as it looks. However, if you know that pressing down makes you fall faster, this immediately gets a good chunk easier. Oh right, I failed to point that out, but every level has a unique transition. Here it's kind of a downward arrow head or something. In Chapter 5, most interestingly, it actually gets mirrored, although horizontally, when you are inside the mirror. If I hadn't been scared of that beam just there, I could have just rushed Madeline or Battlein, whatever. He's part of us, right? Because this level is, or rather all of these rooms are spaced in a way where you can relatively easily just do your thing. You just need to know what to do is the thing. That's always the hard part. And again, I could have just rushed her. Would have been safer than to just dash into spikes. Having to do these switch puzzles while being barraged is quite stressful, to say the least. So I wouldn't blame you for having trouble with that. Especially the time you have to do it while using a golden feather. Well, we already did that. That one block that moves up or down is straight up evil, because you will probably try to land on it, but when you come up here it will appear to be still. It isn't, it's moving, it's just at its like apex where it's still for a brief moment, but yeah, that's where it kinda gets problematic. Alright, here we go. We did it. Well, almost. We still have to actually get the heart. Alright, that's 3 more B-sides in the raps. Center of the Earth. Which is a lie, and Madeline says that she could, you know, tear down Madeline even more. Straight to the center of the Earth. That's what this is most likely referring to. Alright, been very productive. Let's have a quick look at our deaths again. 120 so far. Well, can we stay under 500? Probably. Under 300? That might be a bit tough. We'll see though. But maybe we'll do it. But we'll see that next time when we finish the final 2 B-sides. See ya then.